There, we're now live on Facebook.
Excellent. All right, so you're live with us in Just FM, Southern Alberta, and you're with the Pinoy Hour. And of course, Pinoy is basically Filipino to us Canadian as Canucks.
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty much it
Cool,
for
cool.
Pinoy Hour. And of course, we're trying to say thank you for our guest today, the Honorable John Pogorzelski. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You nailed it.
Thank you,
That's
sir.
perfect. Yeah, that's right on.
Mr. John Pogorzelski. So it's an honor, and thank you for dropping by. I got my co-host there, Mr.
Asian Show. Thank you, sir,
Mr.
for
D.
coming by.
So all right.
Absolutely.
So in collaboration with Just FM and Just FM Pinoy Hour and the Asians, we do a Asians show on Saturdays as well.
Okay.
8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And we have approximately 5,000 to 10,000 viewers back home in the Philippines and
Very nice.
international. So, but we're trying to reach out locally as of today. Hence the title, "Exercise Your Rights, Lethbridge 2017." And hopefully we'll try to educate our audience and of course try to bring Mr. John or Honorable John Pogorzelski to office and by channeling us of today to our audience and Asian community and of course to local Lethbridge.
That's right.
So welcome. Mr.
Thanks
John.
for having me. I'd just like to point out there, I mean, great what you said for getting me in office. That's wonderful. That's why I'm running. I'd like to get into office. But more importantly, it's about getting out there and voting. You know, rather you want to vote for me or you want to vote for any other candidate, it's about getting out there and voting. Right, because that's what makes any election important. You know, we want to have an above 50% turnout because that's majority, and the majority is what we have in a democracy. So we want to see as many people get out there and vote and learn about your counselors, educate yourself on their issues, and if they align with yours, I mean, that's the one you should be voting for. So I'm not going to sit there and say you have to vote for me and I'm the one person that needs to be voted for. I'm more about like get out and vote. And you know what? If you like what I have to say and you like my values, well, if you want to throw a vote my way, I'm okay with that.
That's right.
That's
There
great.
you go.
You know,
That's pretty much in a nutshell for Mr. John Pogorzelski. So I really love it, like the way you give us and exercise our rights and so on, and educate our. Hopefully, the voters get to have a good turnout this
Yeah.
year.
That's always the plan, right? Is you want to see people out there. Right?
There you go, sir.
Yeah.
So,
I know your candidates. That's why we're here too. Just don't vote for the sake of voting. You have to know your candidates, right?
Absolutely.
There you go, sir. So I guess since we have you on the mic right now, so I would love for you to introduce yourself, sir, to our listeners, viewers here in Lethbridge, Alberta, and all over the world. We are live on Facebook, YouTube at justfm.ca, where our Asian community members and avid supporters tune in. Mic is yours, sir.
Yeah, well, first, John, Lou, thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate that. I'd like to thank the Asian community out there in Lethbridge, Alberta for listening,
Thank you, sir.
tuning in and everything. A little bit about myself. I grew up in Regina, Saskatchewan, so I'm a Saskatchewan boy originally.
Oh, that's very nice. I
Yeah.
lived there for quite a bit too.
Oh, yeah?
3 years.
It's a nice place, cold.
Yeah.
Colder than Lethbridge, but it's good. It's got some good things going on.
I guess less windy.
Well, definitely less windy.
Yeah.
But
A lot colder.
yeah, we got some days of like minus 50 out there.
Yeah.
Which is just like, how do you live in that? I don't know.
And it's hotter in the summer too.
It does get a little hotter in the summer too. It's kind of it prepares you for world travel, I have to say, because you get kind of the worst of both worlds, both
right.
heat and cold. And anywhere you go, you're like, well, it's not like Regina, right? I mean, so, but yeah, I was originally from Regina, Saskatchewan. I graduated from the University of Regina with an international business degree.
Nice.
So
Very nice.
I got that, and then I started traveling. I went out to Europe. I was in South America for a bit. Went to just a variety of countries, just kind of finding myself, finding my voice, finding out who I am. And then in 2013, after living back in Regina for a few months, I kind of had an opportunity to come out here to Lethbridge to work with the Southern Alberta Ethnic Association.
Wow.
So I packed my bags, moved out west, came here, settled down, and from there I started falling in love with this community. Lethbridge has given me a lot, I have to say. After I graduated from Regina, it's not like I was a mover and shaker out in Regina. I was kind of just another fish in the pond, so to say. And I wasn't really finding my footing out there. But once I came here, I started doing a lot of community events and attending a lot of community events, meeting a lot of great people. I got to meet the mayor. He now knows me by name, which kind of blew my mind because you're like, the mayor knows who I am.
It's always great when the mayor
totally. And so, I kind of fell in love with Lethbridge here, and I was able to move my girlfriend at the time over, and since then we've got married.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's just been over a year. We bought a house in West Lethbridge, so we're living in the Copperwood area now, and got a dog, which is a huge deal.
Kind of breed.
Yeah, he's a Labrador.
Nice.
Labrador mix. He's a Labrador mix.
A brown one?
He's black.
Oh, okay.
He's black lab.
I love that.
He's a great dog. We got him actually from the Humane Society. So somebody had dropped off some puppies there, and just couldn't handle them, and the Humane Society adopted them out, so we were able to adopt them.
I've been there too once, and it's a very good place where you can get family, friends, even your kids, a pet that nobody wants to take care of at the moment.
That's a sad story.
I'm all for adoption myself. You go to a breeder, anybody's going to buy that dog off the breeder because everybody wants a purebred dog. They know there's no issues with it or anything. You're getting a puppy. Going through the shelter, I mean, you're giving a dog, a loving dog, a second chance.
Second chance in life. Yeah.
Right? You're giving them a home to come home to, and those dogs are going to be the best because they're appreciating that you kind of took them out of captivity and brought them into your home. So I'm a fan of the Humane Society. I was actually today down at Westminster Pool. It's the last day that the pool's open. So on the last day that it's open, they allow people to bring their pets into the pool and everything.
And then the little guy swam.
Yeah, he was first time in the water. He
good
wasn't swimming, actually. He was a little scared of it. We took him into the kiddie pool where he could just walk around. We ended up getting him into the pool at the end. I had to carry him into the water and then drop him down, and he'd swim back to the edge.
So nice.
Yeah, he wasn't super keen on going in himself, but you got to introduce him to the water. But the Humane Society put that on. It was such a great event to see. It was like, wow, there were so many people out there with their dogs. You just see the enjoyment on not only the dogs' faces, but the owners' faces, because everybody was having a good time. And it's nice to see your dog kind of go around and socialize with other dogs. And,
same thing with the owners too. They're going to be socializing with the
absolutely
pet lovers and owners.
Yeah. It's nice dogs.
You took photos for it?
We got some photos.
You
Took a bunch of photos.
You take out your page then.
Yeah. I don't know what she posted it yet. We kind of went home and had a nap after because we were in the sun for like 4 hours. So the whole family just kind of cuddled on the couch and had a nap. And I woke up like, I gotta be down with Just FM in like a half an hour. Hence my hair. It's not as done as I usually like to do it.
It's all good.
Give it a little comb, put some gel through it. But
that's what we need, an active counselor. Not just the one who sits on a desk and...
I'm all about show.
Very laid back. I mean, I want to go to an office where, of course, like Mr. John, and it'll be like, hey, John, come in. It's like, the Just FM crew. That's what I like. If you tell me.
That's what I'm all about,
Laid back. I love it.
It'll be my first time running for political office, so I'm not going to sit there and tell everybody I have all the answers and I know everything there is to know, right? As somebody stepping into a position for the first time, there's a lot to learn. And I feel the best way for me to learn is to kind of talk with all the constituents and everybody in the community and find out what I can be doing better, right? Basically, what I'm running my campaign on is my core values of respect, integrity, honesty, community, and family.
Correct.
I got a few more there, but every decision that I make in council, whether it be a $5 parking meter or a $500 million performing arts theater, I'm going to take those values with me and then put them towards my vote. Right? Is it going to be good for the majority of the community? Is this honest? Is it open? Is the deal being done respectfully and with integrity? And that's what I'm going to be looking for.
And as you mentioned, you have a lot of experience with diverse communities and people through your travels abroad and even here in the local community.
Absolutely. When I was getting my international business degree at the U of R, I was actually the international student liaison. So I would go pick up all our exchange students coming in to Regina at the airport. So I was picking up students from all over Europe and Mexico, South America, Asia, like both East and West Asia. I met a lot of people from Saudi Arabia, a lot of people from China. So my Facebook is like littered with friends from all around the world that I've met through my times at the U of R. And then, through traveling, I met people out there, and that kind of grew. So a lot of people always see like, oh, you got a lot of friends on Facebook, but definitely I do. But that's just because I got out there and traveled. I mean, I would say over half are people that don't live in Canada. That have,
and that's the makeup of Lethbridge now. That's where it's leading. A lot of immigrants from different countries, refugees as well.
Yeah.
And population approximately 100,000.
Approximately, I think we're close to the 100,000 mark.
That's amazing.
For something like that.
Aren't we one of the fastest growing community in or city itself?
I believe we're number 2 behind. The other city slips me, but I've heard those statistics before. If we're not number 1 or number 2, we're definitely up there. Yeah. And you can just kind of see that with your own eyes, right? I mean, you walk through the city, you can see it's growing from west and north and south.
Yeah. Expanding.
Definitely.
Like what happened to Calgary, going to Airdrie and then Edmonton. Yeah. So it's happening to Lethbridge too.
It's coming to Lethbridge because people are realizing those Chinooks are
I mean,
awesome thing to deal with.
So yeah, just to start up, how do you like the weather here in Lethbridge? Do you think that's one of the reasons why a lot of immigrants and even Canadians from different provinces move here?
Yeah, I myself, I love the weather here. As I told you guys, being from Regina, like we see extreme cold weather. Yeah. So the winter time for me here is just blissful. You know, those Chinooks roll in, you're getting like +5 in the middle of December. That is unheard of in the middle of the prairies. You know? So it's being right by the mountains is great. The summers are awesome too. I mean, this summer short winter was always great. The wind is a little tough to deal with sometimes.
Does it get to you?
Yeah, there's been a few days where look at my hair, you know. So when the wind starts blowing, it really like messes up what I got going up over there. And there was even a few days where like the wind was almost blowing me over. Yeah. I'm a big guy. So I just feel for other people. I'm like, man, if the wind's almost blowing me over, you know, what's it doing to you guys? I mean, you guys are walking around, so it's...
That's true.
Yeah, but do I think that's why people are moving here?
One of the reasons, yeah.
Maybe a little bit. I mean, it's good to not be freezing cold. And I know a lot of people that are moving over here into Canada are coming from warmer climate countries. Sure. And the idea of like -40, -50 is just like, nah, I'm not touching that. But I mean, if it was solely the weather, you would have to think like Vancouver would be, you know, a bigger destination, which I guess it is in a way. There is a lot of immigrants that have moved to Vancouver, but I think the real reason why people are moving to Lethbridge is they just know that it's a great community, right? You hear a lot of good things coming out from our community. I mean, we have the CMARD, the Canadian Municipalities Against Racism and Discrimination. Wow. It's a group that is instituted in a lot of cities throughout Canada. Not all of them, but a good portion of them. And our CMARD actually has best practice throughout all of Canada. So it's a very forward-thinking organization that's doing great things here in Lethbridge to build safer and inclusive communities. And word like that gets around. I mean, not necessarily like people are hearing CMARD and I'm coming from CMARD, but they're just hearing how great and open and welcome that Lethbridge has become over the past 10, 15 years. And that it's a great place to come and settle and make new friends and, you know, make some network connections and get a good job and find a good way of life, you know, good place to raise your children.
Yeah, see, that's one thing that we can be proud of as Lethbridgians, I guess.
Yeah.
We're one of the most inclusive cities in Canada.
Once I have arrived, like, I'm from Montreal. I'm a Montrealais, so once I arrived there, I fell in love, like, okay, I'm not leaving this place, and this is where I see my children gonna grow up, and see them, and see myself retiring here. Yeah. So it's a good place to be. So moving forward, just want to greet like all our listeners. By the way, it's Happy Labor Day. So, again, we got the Honorable John Pogorzelski, and it's pretty much a holiday, but we thank John for Honorable John to actually give us some time and of course send out our message to our community and listeners.
Get out and vote.
There you go, sir.
Support the local community. It's the last day of the Rib Fest today too as well.
Oh, Rib Fest. Were you guys there?
Yeah, we were there.
I partaked in. I tried the ribs from the 2 outside ones. I never got to try from the 2 inside ones. Those lines were a little too long, you know.
You like the beef one or the pork?
I like the pork better, actually.
Okay.
The beef rib that I had, it didn't fall off the bone. Like, I really had to like pull it off. Where the pork ribs, are just like, you have to put effort into it.
That's correct.
The chicken was actually really delicious too. We got the full meal with like the pork, the beef, the chicken, and I really like the chicken. But I don't know if that's just I'm a chicken guy myself.
Yeah, we have to check that out. Are they gonna up to 6-7 p.m. today?
Yeah, something like that. They can't go too late because they don't have lights there. And unfortunately, in September, it starts getting a little darker.
Like 7:30, it's starting to get dark.
Yeah.
Well, autumn is just behind the corner. But yeah, what makes our city Lethbridge stand out compared to other cities?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, the CMART, right, of having best practice for organization that's there to promote against racism and discrimination, right? And having the best practice in there and just building these safe and inclusive communities, you know, like we actually have somebody in City Hall, and I don't know how many other city halls across Canada have this, but we have a neighborhood coordinator, and their job is specifically to get out and get neighborhoods connected to each other and I guess stepping out beyond their front door, which is their slogan, to meet their neighbors, right? I know in my community, Copperwood, we have done a movie night recently in the past 2 weeks. Where we put up a big screen TV and they put on Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and had some popcorn and some music going. You bring your families to the park, and a super great way to meet neighbors.
Just like the old times, with those big screen
drive-ins.
Yeah.
I think Fountain Tire did that last year, like the 60th anniversary.
Oh yeah.
They did like an exhibition park, like where they shown like Kung Fu Panda 3.
Right.
So my kids loved it, and it's an amazing experience. But yeah, I would love to join in one of those viewings that you have there.
Yeah, it was super great. We caught the tail end of it because I live a busy lifestyle.
Yeah.
We were actually through my small business, we were out in the park running a beer garden for the Caribbean Festival at that time. So once we ended, then we were able to get over to the park. But it was, like I said, tail end of it. Yeah. But I mean, those things are great, right? Like having those kind of initiatives in City Hall that are not just focused on capital gains, but on expanding the community. And
gets the community closer, right?
Exactly, right? It's a lot of people tend to think that, like, you know, City Hall's there about pushing the economic gains of the city forward. Yeah. Right, but that's not all they're there for. I mean, there's a whole community and social development portfolio, and frankly, there's a floor for that, where people here in Lethbridge are working towards just making this a safer and better community for everybody that lives here. So I think that's one of the main things. And
so on that line, once you get into office, what will be some of your initiatives on top of what you have just mentioned that you have lots of experience with?
Well, one thing that I'm very passionate about is the continued revitalization of our downtown. You guys are familiar with Gulf Gardens Park there, yeah?
Yes, yes.
A beautiful park. Beautiful park. It is underutilized. There's a stigma attached to it. People seem to be, I don't want to say afraid, but just...
Hesitant?
Yeah, hesitant. That's a great word. Perfect word, Lou. Hesitant to go to the park sometimes because of whatever reason. I understand there's some social issues down there, and it's working with that population and finding new ways to kind of bring people to the park, and making it as attractive as possible
and alive again. Right?
Absolutely. I mean, when we have events going on down there, it's packed, it's busy, it's great. People are there, they're having a good time. But when there's no event going down there, it's a ghost town. Right, you don't just see kind of people going out and walking through the park and having lunch in the park and stuff like that. So, finding a way to do that, whether it be like you know creating a few new safe houses to allow our street population to have a place to go, to relax, cool down in, to kind of be there. So there's not so much. I mean, I'm not saying at all we have to remove them from the park because I mean it's a community park. They're absolutely entitled to be there, just like everybody is. Yeah. But just kind of like bringing down the loitering, right? Like and bringing down some of the public intoxication that goes on there. I mean, you don't really want to see that. It's a park for everybody. Much like I would not want to see. You know, you guys sitting in the park drinking and swearing at me as I walk by. Whoever's doing that, you want to make sure that that's there. So I don't have all the answers, right? Like I said, it's working with council to find creative solutions to rebuild on that. But some of the things, I know the Heart of Our City initiative has some tax breaks for people that want to build, convert some of our old buildings into condos or to apartments. Right, to get more people living downtown and with nicer living. I've been to a few of the apartments. I have to go get signatures for some events I do. And I've been into a few of the apartments, and they're not ideal places that I would want to live personally. And I couldn't imagine that, like, most people would want to live there. They're just kind of run down. Right? It's not the smell's a little funny or whatever.
Yeah,
So
maybe the city will probably, lower the lease as long as you improve the building for somebody who wants to rent it or something.
it's
like
not so much lowering the lease. It's actually like, hey, like let's say the building beside the Penny Building. I can't remember what it's called, but it's been vacant for quite some time.
Okay.
The Penny Building's over on Fifth.
Mm.
So somebody owns it. I think the city actually owns it. What they want to do is they want to sell that land to somebody and then have them come in and create a business there where they put up a bunch of apartments and places to live. And basically you're giving them tax breaks.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we're not going to tax you for the rental income for the first 3 years at 100%. Maybe we'll do it at 25%. So the income that you're generating off the building will help go pay for the cost of it, making it more enticeful for somebody to want to buy that building and invest some money into it, right? So working on those things and getting the word out there that is a viable option to people. And Frank, if it is out there and it is a viable option and it's still not working, maybe we revamp that a little bit. Take a second look at it. Is there something better we can do to get investment?
Just don't give up.
Don't give up. Right?
Old buildings.
I got to ask you guys, when you go up to Calgary, where's the first place you go? The west, the north, the downtown? Where do you go in Calgary?
It has to be the downtown.
Downtown area.
Yeah, absolutely. Downtown is the heart of any city.
That's right.
And that's when you think of a city, you think of its downtown.
On point, sir.
And we got to make our downtown better than it is. It's great already, but we got to make it better.
I couldn't agree more. But what kind of impact do you think the Asian community has on this city? Because like us, we're part of the Asian community and we're up and coming. Mm-hmm. So what impact can you see?
Well, definitely a large impact here. I know a lot of my friends like Perna and names are slipping me right now. We get a little nervous going on. But Perna and a lot of people from the Bhutanese community.
Yeah.
Work at Sunrise with the chicken there and
Maple Leaf.
Maple Leaf, and like that's super. I mean, they're creating the food that we're eating here in Lethbridge. I also know a lot of the Bhutanese people that are working at Lay's, which that's our big corporation here in Lethbridge, right? It's the potato chips. That's why when you go to the store, you see all these like weird potato chip flavors. They're testing out the market close to home first. But a lot of them are younger, right? You kind of seen that they've been moving here in the last 10, 15 years. The parents have moved here and they're kind of like looking into retirement. Their kids are up and coming. Mm-hmm. So they're a big workforce here. And it's essential that we just kind of make them want to stay. Holding on to the talent, right? And there's a lot of like talented people here that we need to keep in Lethbridge. So by making it a safe, inclusive community that's welcoming, that wants to foster your talents, like you guys, you have a spot on jessfm.ca here. You guys got a chance to do a radio show. It's a great thing to have. That's why I want to support it by being here on your show. I mean, I thank you guys for coming, like bringing me on, but. As soon as you offered, I was like, absolutely. You guys I've watched your show a couple times. Sometimes you speak in Filipino, and I don't completely understand what's going on. I've never mastered that language myself, but it's just great to see you guys out here doing your talents.
Thank you, sir.
Giving people opportunities to get in front of the microphone, and I think the biggest thing is just with our Asian population, with our South American population, with everybody from everywhere. Allowing them to have a place to foster their talents and to stay in Lethbridge. This is a great community, and it's going to be even better if we can hold on to our talented young people.
So we improve together with the city.
That's right.
If I may add also, our good friend and Honorable John here has a show. It's Pogo Brothers, Tuesdays now, along with my good friend Roy.
Yeah.
And can you promote your show? Every Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken.
It's just been switched to Tuesdays.
Yeah, there you go.
And we actually can't do this Tuesday, so we had to take a 2-week hiatus.
Okay.
Just with the transition and whatnot. My brother's a professor at the university, and he has class on Thursday nights, so we can't do Thursday nights anymore. And I also work at the university as the food and beverage manager of the Students' Union. So essentially my focus is on the bar, but we also do the ballrooms and the banquets and the weddings and all the different catering we have. That's my role there. And Tuesday's our first day back to school. All the kids are coming back. I have about an 18-hour day that day, so I'm going to be working the whole day. So we're like, okay, we'll get started the second week of September, and that's our show. And we kind of do what you guys do. Me and my brother, we enjoy having a few drinks. So we always kind of have a featured beer on our show, and then we bring in just somebody from the community, much like you guys do, and just talk. It's nowhere near as formalized as your show. I was quite surprised. You know, like having the questions here and the names. Like we just kind of come up, kick back. You know, just talk. You know,
impromptu.
Yeah, it's impromptu. Yeah, we have no planned questions. It's kind of just like let's sit down and chat. And sometimes our show gets off the rails a bit. Yeah. Me and my brother, we have our true brother relationship comes through. We get into arguments every now and then.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
I follow it from time to time because I know Roy is doing like the Oktoberfest.
Both of us actually.
Oh, there you go. So,
I'm gonna have to say something here. I gotta tell you guys something. I was actually the brainchild behind the Oktoberfest.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, I know that like the Oktoberfest started in Munich, so like obviously there was the brainchild, but I was the one that was like, okay, let's do a smaller model like that here in Lethbridge. I knew the German Canadian Club always did an Oktoberfest, but theirs was like come in, sit down, meal, you know, have a couple drinks, and it's more relaxed. It's not like the traditional go out into the park, you know, get your mass liters of beers and get the bratwurst and get the sauerkraut and all you can eat and drink and whatnot. So we wanted to take that model and bring it here as much as possible. And it was my idea in the first place. I did all the organizing for the first year. Roy ended up taking over the emceeing duties because I was too tired to do it. Yeah. And he ran with it. He loved it. And then we kind of, after 2 years, we took it up under our own small business, the Pogo Bros. and we run it together now. Like it's a definite collaboration between me and Roy. It's 50-50. It's, well, I have to say, not just me and Roy. We have other business partners too. Trevor Brown and Jerry Firth are also very integral to helping us plan the Oktoberfest. And on top of that, all my wife, a ton of volunteers, our bartenders are all integral of making it happen because we need to have, you know, easily 100 people working on that event. Right? We have 7,000 people coming through the park, so.
There you go. Is this the first time in Lethbridge?
No, this will be our 4th year in Lethbridge.
Nice.
Last year was the first year we moved it to Galt Gardens. The first 2 years we had it in the parking lot in front of the Tap House, which is known as Festival Square. Which, going back to your question earlier, including the revitalization of the downtown, making that Festival Square more festive. Shutting down 6th Street and doing things on Sundays to draw people to the downtown, having like a little market there. Nice. Not so much a farmer's market, just any kind of market where people can set up shop in front of the businesses and, you know, just encourage people to walk downtown. Sure. But anyways, going back, the first 2 years of Oktoberfest were in Festival Square. Last year we moved it to Galt Gardens because we had a lot of people waiting in line. We needed more space. And moving down into the street was too difficult. So it was just an easier progression to move over to the park. And it worked out well last year, so we're back at it.
So, Mr. Oktoberfest here, we owe Mr. John Pogorzelski giving some excitement to Lethbridge.
There you go. So that's
through
one
Oktoberfest.
That's one of Honorable John's influence here in our city. So
we thank you for that.
Well, and you guys remember 2014, the World Cup?
2014,
when Germany,
the last one.
Brazil. Yeah, well, I actually put up a big screen TV downtown for the knockout rounds. And that final game, Germany versus Argentina, we had, I don't even know how many people were down there. We were blocking off the street.
I would just imagine.
No, in Festival Square.
I wasn't there yet, but I would imagine the fun and excitement.
Oh, it was intense.
When is the next one? I think it's coming.
Next year.
Next year. So you're planning that?
Unfortunately not, because it's in Russia. It's in Russia. Okay. And games are going to be on at like 4 in the morning and 6 in the morning, right? Like, it's hard to get a liquor license for 4 in the morning.
Yeah, that's right.
And encourage people to leave
their
house.
By the time you show it, everybody knew already from the internet.
Yeah, there's no putting on delays, right? That's not going to work. So it's just, it's not going to happen this year. I hope we can find a bar that can talk to AGLC and get kind of special permission to have, you know, different operating hours to allow people to have a place to gather to watch the games.
Yeah, I think they did that in Montreal as well.
It's doable. It's doable. I mean, they did it for the Canada, Sweden gold medal in the last Winter Olympics. And I think they were playing at like 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning or something like that. And AGLC granted special permission to different bars to open up to show the Canada-Sweden gold medal game. So it's doable. Yeah. I don't run my own bar, so if I did, I would fight for that. But I hope somebody can step up this
So
year.
somebody
That'd
start a
be great.
petition.
Yeah, why not?
We'll all come and watch and drink in the bar.
It's an automatic signature.
Well, speaking of events, our show, and I'm pretty sure you, sir, too, also support the Lethbridge Hurricanes,
Oh, yes.
Kojaks, the Pronghorns,
Pronghorns.
and we do have a lot of sports teams here. Even the city has a 150 budget for families and kids to do some sporting events, right? Do you think we still need to have more sporting activities in Lethbridge, especially to promote diversity?
Absolutely. You can never have too much sports, in my opinion. I know there's a Filipino basketball league run by Roel Galang.
Yeah,
That's great.
And that's great, like giving more support, and maybe if we can get the word out there on that a bit more, because that's an awesome thing to have. And the great thing about it is it's not like specific to Filipinos, right? Anybody can go in there and play.
Oh, yeah.
It's just ran by the Filipino community of Lethbridge. So having that out there, I know the Bhutanese Society does their own sporting day, which is great to see. Right, promoting our Hurricanes. It's great that they're doing awesome now.
Yeah.
They're making deep runs into the playoffs. So,
They're getting better.
yeah, they're bringing their own crowds. They don't need my support. I support them, but they're doing well on their own. The Lethbridge Bulls, which is the baseball team.
That's true.
They're actually really good this year. They didn't do as good as they did last year. Last year they won the title. This year they faltered a little earlier than that, but I think bringing out more people to those games would be wonderful. It's right by Henderson Lake.
Yeah.
The stadium. It's a great place to go out and watch a ball game. I've been there a couple times. It's absolutely wonderful to have that kind of WBML experience here in Lethbridge. More people get out that can support it, even better, because it solidifies the long-term security of the team.
Yes.
Right? I mean, you have to have fans to make the sports worthwhile. That's just the nature of the beast. Sporting economics, I guess, would be the word for it. So, definitely promoting them, and of course our university and college teams.
Yes. I watch that a lot, especially the basketball.
Yeah, I love going to the university games. You get the women's game first and the men's game after. It's super cheap, super affordable, right? Like, those are great. But even more than that, a lot of people don't know is our U of L Pronghorns hockey team was coached by the one Mike Babcock, who has coached Team Canada.
Wow.
Mike Babcock, and he's won a couple Stanley Cups.
Current coach of the Maple Leafs.
Yep, current coach of the Maple Leafs.
And Team Canada.
Team Canada.
Wow.
He's coached Team Canada, and I don't know. I don't think the Olympics, but definitely in some of the World Hockey Championships.
Okay.
He's won Stanley Cups. He's a great coach, and he coached here in Lethbridge only for 1 year.
But still,
he came in.
Still,
he won a championship with Lethbridge, our only championship under Mike Babcock. And
that's amazing.
And then he went on.
With enough support, you can do anything. Right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
So, people don't know that about our hockey team, right? And I'm guilty of this too. I've never actually been to one of our Pronghorns hockey games, and a lot of that is just I down to marketing to a certain degree. I don't know when they play. I'm not there in the loop of when their games are going on. So getting the word out of our college athletics, university athletics, to people come check these out. These are the stars of tomorrow.
Okay.
Or maybe the city can sponsor camps. For people when I was in Edmonton, I used to go door to door volunteering for the Northern Alberta Hockey Association because some kids don't have enough money to some parents don't have enough money to put their kids. To play sports, right?
I mean, hockey itself is expensive.
Oh, hockey's probably the most expensive sport.
Just the gears alone, right?
You gotta get the gear all the time. You break sticks left and right. Well, that's very noble of you to go out there and do that. Absolutely, that's a big focus that needs to be looked at, right? Because there's a lot of underprivileged youth out there that could definitely benefit from having these organizations in place. Now, because I am not a father yet, and I say that yet because I am married, and we'll see what happens down the road, but I haven't been completely focused on that particular area of promoting amateur sport and making sure all kids get a chance to play. But absolutely, that is a focus of mine, because when I was a kid, I think being in sports was one of the best things that ever happened to me, right? Being part of a team and understanding that dynamic, and whether you win or you lose, learning to be humble when you be humble when you win, and be okay when you lose. It's not the end of the world to lose, and all that. It really helped develop my person and my character, and I think every kid should have a chance.
Absolutely,
to play.
Yeah. That's our goal too. That's the reason my kids want to play sports, and just to feel out of it, like the camaraderie, the the feelness of acceptance. Yeah, you lose some, you win some, you learn those terms.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, and just want to have in touch bases with our local community here, the Lethbridge Police. It's doing a great job, Lethbridge finest. So doing a great job keeping our city safe. What is the message like to our local community, and how can we all contribute to a safer, cleaner, and better city?
Well, first off, I have to say that once Tom McKenzie left, we were a little worried. Police chief is gone, but Rob Davis stepped in. He's been doing a fantastic job.
Thank you, sir.
Absolute promo to him. I think our police force is doing a wonderful job. I have to give a shout out to my buddy Paolo. Used to be my former neighbor. He's a cop here. Very stand-up guy, very humble. I feel a lot of our police is very approachable.
Yeah.
Right. Like I don't feel you don't have to worry about approaching our police officers and having a conversation with them. I talk to a lot of cops that do the beat around Galt Gardens because I'm in there quite a bit. And like I said, it's a very non-intimidating police force, which is great to have. But they're also there to crack down on crime. And I have to say, like, I've never felt unsafe in this city.
Yes, I've lived in different cities too: Edmonton, Calgary, Saskatoon, and Regina.
Yeah.
And so far, Lethbridge is the best.
Yeah, and a lot of that is due to smaller. Right, and it's less to patrol, and our cops are out there. Like I've heard the rates that they're out there. You don't see them as much, but that's a good thing, right? Because they're working behind the scenes. You don't want to kind of see everything out in front. But let's handle the situations respectfully and keep them under the rug. But I know there was that one girl who was unfortunately assaulted on her way to work when she was going to Firestone, and our police caught the perpetrator within 4 or 5 days. Right, they were on it. They knew what was going on. Yeah, it's a very good turnaround. Like in a bigger city, maybe never even gets caught. Yeah. So it's definitely the police force has been working well. I've had zero issues with anything they do, and how to make it better. Well, frankly, just more support. Right, that's what it's all about. Just making sure our police officers are supported. They feel supported. They know they have the backing of council to go out and keep doing their job the way they're doing it.
Yeah, like our honorable guests say, crime does not pay in Lethbridge.
That's true. And
anywhere for that matter.
Anywhere.
That's true. And just want to throw in a curveball there. Because police mentioned about that the population, like it's we're close to 100,000 approximate. Now, where does the population come into play? Are we telling the police to hire more? Or how do we support them, like in that sense? Because I know the more the more the work. Yeah. So where are we leading towards that? Like, do we need more Lethbridge finest to work?
As the population goes.
As the population grows.
I mean, off the top of my head, when you think about it, more people here mean more cops on the street, right? And I don't know the exact number of how many people you need per one police officer. So I'm not just going to say, like, absolutely, let's hire more police, and so it's just an answer. But definitely looking at the demographics, seeing best practices in other communities that have surpassed the 100,000 mark already, and how they've kind of operated their police forces. Whether it be, hiring more or finding creative ways to expand job scopes for the current officers that are on beat right now. I know one thing, this isn't totally law enforcement, but it is enforcement, is the parking that happens downtown. Yeah. And right now we have officers that walk down and write tickets, right? But they have to walk up to the meter and look at the meter and see if it's expired, and walk back and look at your car and write the license plate down. And it takes time to do all that. In Calgary, they have a very efficient system where everything is manually plugged in. So you pay at one pay station, you plug in your license plate, and a car just drives around and it reads all the license plates. Yeah. And if the license plate isn't registered, nobody paid for it. Boom, you get a ticket. Online, right? Well, not so much online, but just through one of the kiosks.
Yeah, but it will. I mean,
electronic.
Yeah. So the computer will know that you've already paid.
Right. And you can do it from your phone. Yeah, right. So like, okay, it's been longer than an hour. All right, let's get that on there. Pay for my parking. Done. Yeah. And then you just have one person in a car driving around that can cover much more area.
More efficient.
And find people that are not paying for their parking, because unfortunately, there is this mentality of like, I don't have to pay for parking. You know, I should park wherever I want, whenever I want. Some people have that mentality.
Sure.
And, you know, I mean, that's their prerogative to think that way. But at the end of the day, transportation should be utilized a bit more. And if it was utilized a bit more, our transportation would be able to operate more efficiently because we'd have more dollars in from people using the transportation. So I'd like to see that happening. So cracking down on the parking is a big thing, and finding a new initiative like that you're essentially having the same person working, but now you're expanding their scope. Right? They're able to cover more area, able to send out more tickets to people that are trying to cheat the system, so to speak.
Yes.
So keeping that in mind, that creative solution that's right there with our current police force, is there a way we can do that with other problems that the police force might face? Right? Yeah. I'm going to tell you right now, like I'm not 100% focused on. Our cops have been doing such a great job that I haven't been really focused on how many people are out there and how much you're paying officers and how much all that's going in. That wasn't totally my focus on my campaign. But to answer your question, if we are seeing a rise in population, do we need to hire more police officers? I think the first thing we got to do is look at other communities' best practices, look at finding other creative solutions to expand the scope and the abilities of our current police force, and then weighing the pros and cons between hiring more and whether it's necessary or whether we can handle it with the current police force, but just giving them more tools in their belt.
Even maybe a neighborhood watch and something.
Those are great, like absolutely finding that's a creative solution, right? And I know there's been neighborhood watches out there. When I was young, we had a block parent in our neighborhood. I don't know if they got paid from the city or anything like that, but their job was to kind of report suspicious activity, and the kids knew that if you were in trouble, you could go to this house, and that house would be like a safe house, right? So it's there's definitely a lot of ways out there to improve our community, and it's finding those creative solutions, working with my fellow council members to see what works best for Lethbridge. Obviously we don't want to just be spending money, and every time there's a problem, throw money at it. That's not the best solution all the time.
That's true.
So yeah, I mean, before we just go hire more cops because we're growing in population, let's look at their current scope and see what we can do better.
Yeah, it's good to know, Honorable John. So let's just play like currently it's November. Mm-hmm. After you get elected and receive our votes, what can we expect from you as our representative in office?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I have my core values that I'm running on, right? Respect, integrity, honesty, family, community, and any decision that comes to my table, any vote I have to make, I will use those values to place my vote towards either a yes or no, depending on what the situation is. Furthermore, as a first-time counselor, I don't know it all. I'm not going to sit there and be like, I know all the answers better than everybody because I've been doing this forever. I want people's opinions. I want to be approachable. I want to be reachable. I want to allow people to come in and sit down in my office and give me their ideas and share their thoughts with me. Whether it just be like, hey, a great comment that things are going on, or whether it's like, you know what, I had a terrible run-in with something or someone in the community, and how can we better this? Or whether it be like, the taxes are too high, my property taxes are too much. How could I lower my property taxes, right? I want to be able to just allow people to have their voice heard, right? And I want to be that outlet. I love talking to people. I love sitting down. I love having conversations, formulating ideas with people. I love doing it. So I would encourage as many people as possible, if I'm elected, to come sit down with me in my office. Let's go for breakfast. I can't do breakfast every day. Otherwise you get a lot of pay. It's only a part-time city council thing. But, definitely let's go for coffee. Let's go chat. Let's have it's an open door policy that I want to run, right? Because if I'm on council, that's going to be my primary focus. I'm going to have my business on the side, which I will be doing. But other than that, with my business, it'll be council. Family, I got to put ahead. I mean, if my wife's watching, she's obviously number one.
Hello.
And I don't want to take all my time from Anna there for everybody. But no, definitely. I want to be able to give people a platform to voice their ideas is my biggest thing. And secondly, I'll be at the events. I mean, I'll be at the events either way, whether I'm elected or not. I love going to the community events here in Lethbridge. But I guess it would just make the difference if I'm a face in the crowd or if I'm a counselor on stage giving greetings. But you can definitely count on me to come to your event and to say a few words on behalf of the city if I am one of the 8 elected officials.
Oh.
I am very well spoken. I will talk your event up so good.
You're not
so
afraid to speak your mind.
No. I like to get out there and I like to voice my opinions. Luckily, I think I have good opinions. So
That's true.
And that's what we want from our representatives, that they make their decisions based on the input of the constituents, like Honorable John here said.
Absolutely.
Not just their own.
No, of course not. It's not. I'm not running for my benefit, right? I moved here in 2013. This community has given me so much. In the short time I've been here, I've met so many great people. I've been able to start my small business, buy a house. I've got some fantastic jobs in the time I've been here. And now I'm in a position where I can run for council. This has all been in 4 years. For me, I think it's given me everything I could ever ask for, and I just want to be able to give back. You know, I want to be able to talk with people and tell them the reasons why a third bridge is not going to be built on the west side. You know, rather than just it won't. Well, here's the reason why, right? Or alternatively, here's the money for it where we can build the bridge. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. From my opinion, from what I've heard right now, is it's a little too expensive, and the whoop up's not being kind of fully utilized right now. Like, it's when you drive on that, when I drive in Calgary on the Deerfoot, that is a busy road.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cars on it. The whoop up, I mean, it's busy a little bit sometimes. So, you know, but just being able to explain that to people and tell them what's going on with the city and make the best decisions as possible for the city, that's why I want to be on it.
That's amazing. And I believe we've thrown in all of our questions. If we missed something, you can go ahead and have the mic. Floor is yours.
I have to
And
say,
platform.
you guys covered it all. I think it was really well done, you know.
And you're very well spoken. He pretty much tackled all of our questions.
I delivered my points.
There you go.
They were in the questions. So, you know, like I said, the biggest thing I want to say is on election day, October 16th, is just get out there and vote. Get out there and vote, make an informed opinion, whether you vote for me or one of the other great counselors one of the other great people that are running for council. That's all I want to see. Right? I want to see those numbers jump up and hit over 50%. That would make my day. Even if I didn't get on council and I seen over 50% of the city voted, that would be wonderful.
Exercise your rights and know your candidates. That's the most important thing.
And that's great for you guys bringing on. I hear you're bringing on different candidates to the show.
We do,
which is excellent. You know, you're allowing the Asian community here to kind of see the candidates. There's a lot of forums that are going to be on. I encourage you to get out to the forums because there's going to be tougher questions asked from further right and further left wing groups at those forums. So you're going to kind of see the councillors sweat a little bit with some of the questions that are going to be. That's what I've been told. I haven't attended one yet, but
well, you should watch our show. It's actually a lot tougher than most shows, but we want to have our guests and let Bridgians, you know, to know more about the candidates rather than grill them, because we believe that if you know your candidates and you feel more relaxed to talk to them, it'll be a lot easier for things to get done.
Absolutely.
So your final messages, sir, to all of our listeners, and we're going to post this in YouTube, Facebook, and a lot of people will be able to hear what your message for not just the Asian community, but everybody in Lethbridge.
The whole in Lethbridge itself.
I'm running my campaign based on my values and a 3-pronged platform. My values being honesty, integrity, respect, community, family, with my platform and my 3 focuses being the continued revitalization of our downtown, the promotion of small business, the mom and pop shops that I feel are unique to Lethbridge and really bring out our culture. You know, places like Plum and Telegraph Tap House, places that you cannot find anywhere else in the world, but right here in Lethbridge. Helping those small businesses not only continue growing, but also like start up and foster. And you know, I want to see a lot more of that. And finally, working with CMART and ensuring that we have safe and inclusive neighborhoods and a community that you can write home about and tell about how great your time here has been or will be or is, but just going out there and making people feel welcome, making people that feel that they have a voice, and making people feel included. Right? That's what I want to do. I want everybody in Lethbridge to just be one big family. It's a pipe dream. We're always going to have our differences, but in my mind, like having everybody just be able to shake each other's hands and say, "How are you doing today?" Right, would be just perfect. So those are my 3 platforms I'm running for. I definitely have my opinions on everything else that's going on, but obviously you can't just talk about everything. Those are my 3 areas of focus. And yeah, like I said, I want to see the city get out there and vote. My name is John Pogorzelski. I run a small business called Pogo Bros. We do the Oktoberfest. We do other community events.
The radio show?
A radio show. You know, we get out, try to get out in the community as much as possible. We volunteer our time a lot for the Family Center. That's our charity of choice, Ronald McDonald's Children's House. So we get out there, we work with them as much as possible, including like we do stuff with the YMCA or the YWCA, a few other organizations in town, SEPA, and yeah, we like to get out there and help out, right? I mean, that's what community is. Volunteering your time sometimes is a necessary thing to do, and we like to get out there and volunteer. So.
Well, very well said. That's Honorable John Pogorzelski. October 16, poll starts at 8 a.m.
8 a.m. I believe.
8 a.m. So to our local Lethbridgians, and that's the date that you have to sign on your calendar. Again, it's October 16 at 8 a.m. Go out and vote. Exercise your right, our right to actually vote for our candidates. So we got here again the Honorable John Pogorzelski. And we have our history here on our Facebook. It's going to be posted there. I believe you also have a Facebook page that has
you're
running about your platforms and so on.
Everything you need to know is on there. I mean, it's just John Pogorzelski. Don't confuse it with my personal page and my actual page. It's under the same name.
Correct.
I didn't know how to do that differently. But yeah, my Facebook page is on there. We're going to have a website soon. I got a Twitter set up. I got to learn Snapchat so I can have a Snapchat. I don't know. Do people like counsel through Snapchat? I don't really know. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Maybe it'll be there.
How about Instagram?
We don't have an Instagram. We have a Twitter because Twitter's a lot of information. Instagram, I just feel it's pictures, right? Like, you know, I'm just going to post pictures of me all the time. I have my personal Instagram account if you want to find that out there and stuff there. But for the election, yeah, we're definitely just focusing on our social media through Facebook. That's widely used. Twitter, absolutely. And then we're going to have a webpage coming up here right after the nomination deadline of September 18th. We'll have that going up where I'll have my platform posted, my opinions on things. And yeah, just I guess I'm Googleable. Is that a word? Googleable?
You can Google it.
Yeah, you can Google it.
That's what they mentioned. Google said that you can pretty much associate any word with Google. So
yeah,
that's
totally.
Google.
It's
Fine.
Googleable. Yeah.
Well, on behalf of Pinoy Hour, of course, I got my co-host there, Mr. Lou. And of course, my name is John, and you're with Pinoy Hour. Watch our Asian show every Saturdays at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Now, on Monday, which is September 11, we will have the Honorable Jennifer Takahashi to be taking our hot seat, and she's going to mention her platforms and so on. And we welcome you, and of course, we invite you to watch our show and educate and, of course, learn about our good, honorable representative that will run for office. So with that said, we're going to wrap it up for you. And again, just follow us. Follow Mr. Honorable John Pogorzelski for any updates on his platforms and his upcoming running for office. So we'll see you next time. And thank you for sitting down and watching us from our show. And thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me, John. Lou, pleasure.
Sir.
Thank you.
Anytime. I'll bring you guys on my shows.
All right.
Okay.
Why not, sir? Thank you, and we'll see you next time.